Hello, welcome to Central Florida Salute YouTube. I have the honor of having Ron Colucci. Did I say your name?
That's good.
That's pretty close, right?
Good enough.
He was awarded a Purple Heart. He had a wonderful career in the military. He served in the Marines and the Navy. And Ron, I'd like you to tell the people a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm from Roselle Park, New Jersey. That's more up north. And graduated high school in 1968. And when I graduated high school, 3 days later, I was on a train heading to Paris Island.
So you volunteered?
Marine boot camp.
You joined the Marines right out of high school?
Right out of high school.
Really?
Matter of fact, I joined when I was still in high school. 6-month delay program.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What made you want to do that? Did you have a family history?
No, I was the only one that was ever in the Marines. Besides my great nephew. But other than that, I was the only one. They tried to persuade me not to join the Marines. Mm-hmm. No. You know, I see the John Wayne movies and stuff. Man, this looks cool. I think I gotta go. 3 days after graduate, I went in on a buddy system with another friend of mine. But that's a joke. Even at Marine Corps, boot camp, no, you don't talk to nobody. But so then I went to boot camp, and during the summertime, to an old World War II barracks. No air conditioning, nothing. Wooden floors. Every morning, we had to get up and get the scrub brush out of our little bucket, because that's what we lived out of, this little bucket, and scrub the floor on our hands and knees.
Wow. Did you have second thoughts then?
I don't scrub floors no more.
No, not anymore.
But, then we made it through boot camp. Matter of fact, I graduated on my birthday, August 30th. And we went to ITR over in Camp Geiger, Camp Lejeune, for infantry training. Even though I was going to be a tanker, everybody still goes through infantry training. So you're going to be a grunt, then you go through advanced infantry training. So then I went home for 20 days. That was in October. So I went in August. I didn't see daylight till October.
Yeah.
No leave, no liberty, nothing. So I went home for 20 days, and they threw a nice party for me when I was leaving. And went out to Camp Pendleton, Camp Del Mar for tank school.
Now, did you volunteer for tank school, or did they just say
No. I wanted to. I asked the guy, can I get tanks? Because my brother was in Vietnam, and he was a tanker in the Army. He says, oh, no, you got to go in tanks. I said, I want to go in tanks. We can't guarantee you nothing. How about, what else do you want to do? So, as stupid as I was, I said, I'd like to be a machine gunner. And that was the dumbest thing. But anyhow, I actually got tank school. We're all standing in line for the final review. And they tell you what you're going to be. You're going to be a tanker. Your ultimate duty station is Washington, D.C., Ace and I Marine Barracks. If you can make it out of Vietnam. Back then, that's the post of the Corps. We top 10% ever get there.
Yeah.
And they want you to go there to show your medals off. Just blues and all that. And then he says, then you're going to Vietnam. So everybody's going to Vietnam, except my buddy. He went to Cuba. So then they say, does anybody have a father or a brother over there? So I raise my hand. My brother's over there. Drill instructor comes walking down, gets right in my face, and he goes, if you sign this waiver, you can go over with the rest of the Marines. So am I not going to sign this piece of paper? Yes, I did.
Yeah, in front of all the other guys.
You got to sign it.
Yeah.
So then there was 3 of us from our tank school. We all wound up in the same unit together. And they're in that one photo. And we were there, got there January 14th. February, we were at Amwa. Bad place to be at. We got overrun the second month we were there. They blew up the ammo dump, all kinds of stuff. And Pat, he's a guy from Mount Holly, New Jersey. And Jimmy's a black kid from Bronx, New York. Pat went out on guard duty one night, because there's a little airfield there that they had the helicopters and C-130, so they had a slot for a tank at night.
Yeah.
And they were always probing the lines, shooting RPGs, this, that, and anything at you. He went out one day and didn't come back. He got his hand blown off, so. And Jimmy went out in May now, Jimmy went out on an operation at Gnoy Island. They were assaulting a trade line, and he was killed by the RPG. And then I was wounded September 20th myself with a huge mine. We ran over a huge mine.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a little bit about your injuries, if you don't mind.
Sure.
But first, I did a thing I used to live in Oxford, Connecticut, and we brought the wall that heals, the replica from Washington up there. And that's the first time I ever learned that they even had tanks in Vietnam. I didn't know that.
The Army had a lot.
And had it on display there. How many tanks do you think, was there a lot of
Well,
them?
there's difference. The Army had all kind of tanks. And armored personnel carriers. The Marine Corps, we had M48A3s, the same ones they used in Korea. The only difference was they're diesel instead of gas. And a 90 millimeter 30 caliber machine gun and a 50, and anything else you can carry. They were very vulnerable tanks, I thought. But the Marine Corps had, it was only 3,500 of us, or 36, a little less than, of us that were actually served in Vietnam as tankers from 65 to 70. The Marine Corps platoon of tanks consisted of only 4 tanks.
Yeah, because
4.
I talked to people and they said they didn't see a whole lot of tanks over there.
Well, we went out, we did a lot of things. We did we ran convoys, we did road sweeps. And road sweeps were really bad where we were at because we'd always lose 2 or 3 grunts on a road sweep. And that was a real bad area. And anyhow.
So you did you do one tour there? You got wounded on the first tour?
I got wounded there, and then once I recovered, which was 9 months later, about 9 months later, they sent me to 8th and I. There's another story a little bit about this.
Okay.
I got a meritorious combat promotion from PFC to Lance Corporal signed by the Commanding General of the 1st Marine Division. So when I was in Med Hole in Brooklyn, I got busted down to E2 again. So I went to 8th and I as an E2.
Okay.
I was the lowest ranking person there. So needless to say, I wound up going on mess duty right away. Actually, it was 3 times. And then they wanted me to march. You know, I want to see if you can march. It's all ceremonial. So I'm marching with them. We're trying to march. And all of a sudden, everybody's going nice like this, and my head will pop up. That's a slight limp. So from there, they just sent me to H&S Guard section. I guard the main gate at 8th and I, and the main gate down in the Washington Navy Yard. So I was down there for about a year. I got my Lance Corporal back, my meritorious promotion. I got a corporal too, actually. Then I was down there for a year, and then I got my White House clearance. So I went up to Camp David, Maryland, and I guarded President Nixon for 11 months before I got out. Then I made sergeant before I got out. So I went from PFC to sergeant in 2 years.
Wow. I know, I was in the Air Force. The Air Force is really slow getting promotions. And if you ever lost it, you never get it back. But the Army guys, they would just lose them and get it back.
It was the same way back in the Marines when I was in. You always had a chance to make it back.
Yeah.
Now, not so much.
Yeah. So you were talking a little bit about when you got wounded. You got wounded over there in.
Oh yeah, that's another. That's when.
That's another.
That's
another story.
That's when I made my mistake.
Oh.
We were up on Hill 55, and they wanted to go back to the Da Nang battalion area because there's a brand new tank over there, and they wanted to bring it back, but they needed another crew. Oh, any volunteers? Yeah, I raised my hand. That's a mistake. You never volunteered.
No.
So I did. We didn't get not even a half a mile off the hill. We ran over a huge mine, and it just, everything went up. I just went flying through the air. So I got a lot of little cuts on me and stuff, but then when I tried to get up to get away from the tank, I couldn't, because the tank could blow up if the ammunition could cook off.
Yeah.
So I was crawling down the road, and then AJ came up and started carrying me, dragging me away. Then it started hissing like it was going to go any minute. I told him to drop me, no sense of both of us getting killed. So he dropped me. Then I crawled over into a rice paddy. And the tank didn't blow up because it was the fire bottles that went off.
Oh, okay.
So the tank did not blow up, but it was pretty well messed up. So then the medevac chopper came down, and the corpsman came over, and I told him, well, I got hit in the foot. And I'm already paralyzed to the waist down, right? And a lot of little cuts and stuff, So he takes my boot off, looks at it. It was just like a little shrapnel, a little thing like this. And he takes my boot, but my 2 dog tags and throws it in the rice paddy. So I still don't have mine. And then
Why did he do that?
What's he going to do with it?
Well, why throw your dog tags in there?
He was in a hurry. Probably didn't realize they were on there.
Oh, okay.
So anyhow, they rigged me on the chopper. They didn't have any stretcher. They had a poncho, slid me on there and dragged me over there. And they threw me in the back of the helicopter. They threw me on a stack of bodies. First thing I saw was a silver wolf's head ring on this guy's finger. I said, Anyhow, I got to Da Nang, there for about a week. And the only thing, they said I had non-displaced fractures that was pushing on the nerves. So they're not going to do anything except let you lay there, right? Painful.
Oh,
so they kept shooting you up, but every 2 hours or whatever it was, they kept giving you a needle. And I finally told them after a while, don't give me no more of this.
You do something for me.
And I can't do nothing until it healed by itself.
Oh, it had to heal by itself?
Yeah, because they're non-defaced fractures. They weren't displaced. That's what they said anyhow. But then from there, I went out to Yokosuka Naval Hospital for a couple of weeks, then all the way back to St. Albans in New York.
All during this time, you couldn't walk or anything?
No.
Yeah.
We were in Medhold at a World Series. So does anybody want to go to World Series? I'm going to go to it. By then, I could be in a wheelchair. So they took us all over to watch the World. That's when the Mets were playing.
Yeah.
That's the year they won. 69.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So how long were you laid up for like that?
9 months.
9 months. And then what happened? Where'd you go then?
I went back to full duty. I went to 8th and I. As the lowest ranking person. Bad news. Every time you make rank, it's a tradition with the Marine Corps, you get hit from both sides. So everybody there is higher than me. Ooh. And then on the Washington Navy Yard, they had the body bearers. They're the ones that go to the funerals, lift the caskets.
Yes, sir.
You know how big they are?
No.
Very big.
So that was your one tour in Vietnam. You didn't go back again.
No, I went right over to Dace and I, and when I got out, when I went up to Camp David, I got out.
Well, and then all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, you took a little break, right?
5 years.
5 years.
Well, the reason why I got an early out, actually, to go to college, which was a huge mistake.
You're going to make a couple of huge mistakes.
It was a huge mistake because I missed getting my Presidential Service Badge, which not too many people get. And then when I went to college, it was King College in New Jersey, Union, New Jersey. Mm-hmm. And it was only a couple blocks from where I lived in Roosevelt Park. But, I never got along with those people. No, I never did.
Yeah.
So after a couple years, I said, screw you, I'm out of here. So I worked around for another 3 years. I did every job there was. I was a house painter, machine operator, janitor, security guard. And the last job I had was a bartender in a shot and beer joint in my hometown. I'd open up the bar at 6 o'clock in the morning. People were waiting outside to come in.
Wow.
So then one day, so I was living with my parents. I just planning to have no car or nothing. I said, what am I doing? So then I heard about a special program the Navy has called OSVET, Other Surface Veterans. You can join for 2 years, don't have to go to boot camp. All right? So, okay. So like I said, when I went in for when I went in for the physical, because I already had a hearing problem.
Yeah.
Because I applied for a police officer's job when I got out, and I failed the hearing test on higher frequencies. So I go take the hearing test over there. I failed it twice. This third time, miraculously, I passed. I'm in the Navy now. Back then in the Navy, I had a beard. Didn't have to shave my beard because you're allowed to have beards in the Navy.
Yeah.
The only thing to do was trim it down, cut my hair. Went up to the Great Lakes for, orientation, health records, pay records, and firefighting school. So that was only about a month. And then I went home for another 20 days. And then I went to Little Creek, Virginia on an LST.
Oh, okay. Landing craft.
Oh, that was a nightmare ship.
Another mistake you made.
Oh, I didn't know they were going to put me on that. That was a nightmare ship, it really was.
Why is that? Why do you say that?
It's a flat bottom boat.
Yeah.
And it rocks and rolls in the storm.
Okay, yeah.
We hit a couple of storms going across the Atlantic when we were going to the Med. And we were taking 50-degree rolls.
That's not good.
No, they had to tie. Everything has to be tied down, including yourself and your rack, because you'll fall out. So, but I was on that ship a year and a half. I made a 3 months Caribbean cruise, 6 months Med, and a couple of little forays up and down the coast. We went up the Hudson River to Albany. That was a nice pleasure going up the river. We also went up the Potomac into Washington, D.C. And then when I got hospital corps school, I left the ship. Went to hospital corps school, got out of there. I'm not going to go through all my duty stations. We'll be here forever. So after a while, I went to preventive medicine school in Oakland, California. Mm-hmm. After a 6-month school, 42 and a half college credits from accredited college.
Wow.
Yeah. And then when I left there, I went to Quantico, Virginia, back there, the Marine base. And now, one of the best duty stations I had, it was in Gulfport, Mississippi, United States Naval Home. Now, by this time, I made first class. I made rank every time I went up. Because the way they have it set up, all your personal awards count for points. And each one counts for so much. So I had quite a few that they all counted. And so I was down there, and then the detailer comes in and says, you got to go back out to sea. We got a brand new aircraft carrier for you. No, I'm not going on no bird farm. Forget about it. Now, I'm 35 at this point. He goes, okay, well, you can go with the Marines. Okay, I'll go with the Marines. I forgot about the 8 weeks field medical school I had to go through. Ooh. And everybody's young. A lot of them just came out of boot camp. They were in good shape. So I was in charge of the platoon, the 3rd Herd. We had 50 people in it. So make a long story short, for some reason, this Marine instructor kept breaking our galloons.
Stones.
Whatever. He kept breaking them. We had to go through this pipe one time, right? Now we got our M16s and everything, and all your gear crawling through this pipe. One of those big sewer pipes?
Yeah.
Or whatever. And he flooded it. It was drowned half the people. And then we went to the gas chamber. We were there longer than anybody else without the mask.
Needless to say, you and him aren't friends anymore.
Well, none over there. But anyhow, let me see. After I got out of there, I got stationed with the 1st Marine Brigade in Hawaii, Marine Corpsman with them. And I did a Westpac with them, 6 months Westpac with them, and a lot of little month things here, month things there. And then I went to Bethesda, Maryland, the hospital, Naval Hospital in Bethesda. And I was on shore duty. And then I'm selected for chief. And Saddam Hussein went over the line 5 days later. 5 days after that, I was on the high seas. They took all these people from the hospital, doctors, nurses, corpsmen, put them on buses, drove us down to Baltimore Harbor, put us on the hospital ship. And away we went. Got back when it was over. Now that was a long ride.
Is that the comforter that you were telling me about?
The Comfort, yeah, the hospital ship that was in New York, which I never used. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of money and a lot of personnel to have to gather for that, to put them on that ship, which is run, it's a USNS ship, United States Naval ship. It's not a USS. The captain, they call him master. He's a civilian. They have a lot of civilian seamen there too. And they're augmented with some Navy people. But it's actually civilians they're in. They had the life though. Every time we had a lifeboat drill, overtime. On Sunday, double time. Oh.
Yeah, the comforter, those are Navy ships. They're not supposed to get attacked during a
Not supposed to, yeah. Like when we were there, first of all, it's a white ship with big red crosses on it.
Yeah. So you know what it is. Yeah.
At night, it has to be fully lit up. And we used to go out, before the war started, our home base was Bahrain. We go into Bahrain for a couple days, go back out, anchor for 30 days out there. There's really nothing to do.
Play cards.
No, fishing was good.
Oh, fishing. We had a lady on here. In fact, she's sitting where you were. She's 100 years old, and she was on the Comfort during World War II. She was a nurse.
Yeah, that's not the same boat, though.
It can't be.
It's not the same ship.
No, I mean, they upgrade them.
Yeah.
It's like during World War II when the Yorktown got sunk. We built another one right away, so try and screw up the Japanese. But anyway, yeah, they just pass it on, And that's what she said. Same, pretty much what you said. So anyway, like I was saying, she was on the comforter, and basically she said that I played a lot of cards. So that's why I asked you if you played a lot of cards. But so you were a part of Desert Storm?
Desert Storm, yeah.
Yeah. So you must be pretty highly decorated now, I see.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't have any real... My highest decoration is the Purple Heart. Then after that comes the combat action, which is the same thing as the...
You got the Vietnam Service Ribbon, Vietnam Campaign Ribbon.
And all of them, yeah. And also the ones from Desert Storm.
Yeah. So how many years in total did you do?
About 20 and a half.
20 and a half?
I had to get out of the Navy then. There was so much political. They wouldn't let you do your job.
Yeah.
I was charged with, let me see, racial discrimination, this, that, and the other thing, So it's like, what are you talking about?
We don't want to go there. I
beat them all anyhow. But,
good,
it was ridiculous what was going on.
Yeah.
They were, people would start screaming this and screaming that. And there's no basis for anything.
So after you got out of the service, what did you do?
I got divorced.
Was that a good move?
I think it was an excellent move.
I think it was a good move. You know why divorce costs so much?
Yeah.
It's worth it.
No, mine was $300, and I made her pay half.
Only kidding with you.
But anyhow, when I got out, I was working for the audiologist, believe it or not. By that time, I had hearing aids in, but this was all automated.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have to do nothing except set them up, press a button, right? And there was a truck. I had to drive this truck around, and you could do 6 audiograms at a time. In the tri-state area, I had to drive them all over, stay overnight here, there, whatever. Because the factories are required to have a hearing test once a year for their workers up in the noise hazardous area. So one day I decided, I was making good money for the time. I was making over $15 an hour back in '93. But I said, you know what? I got to get another pension. And this guy, there's nothing. He didn't have nothing for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I had my own medical because I was retired, but he didn't offer anything. Nothing. So I said, I gotta look for another job in the federal government. So I used to supervise with them when I was a chief and stuff. And I said, man, I gotta be just like them. Because what they could do. Anyhow, I ordered back then. There was none of the internet that had all the jobs on it. So I subscribed to a newspaper that had all the jobs in the country. So I was looking through it, and there was a job in Philadelphia, the Food and Drug Administration, as an import inspector. So I went over there and I applied for the job, and I got it. Of course, it was a GS5, but that wasn't very much money. But you have to work your way up. You have to start at the bottom. So I persevered. I even had to work 2 jobs after a while. But I persevered. I kept going up one grade at a time. For 5 years from there, I was a GS10. I can't go any higher. So I said, whoa. So I guess, okay, so I'll go to be an investigator. So they had a thing for a job opening for an investigator. So I applied for that, and I got that. Now, in order to be an investigator, you got to have a college degree, which I didn't have, and you got to have 30 science credits that they accept. You could have, I don't care what degree you got, but if you ain't got 30 science credits, you're not getting that.
Yeah.
Or you can have a degree or experience. So I had all the experience from the Navy doing my job. So that qualified me for the position. So then I became an investigator. So I did domestic work for a year, and then they put me back in imports. So I was an import investigator. So I used to work on the piers. That was very interesting. But then after I hit the 10-year mark, they brought me into import. Brought me inside to work the Oasis computer system. This big computer system tracks everything that comes into our ports.
Mm-hmm.
Every product. Now we had all of Pennsylvania, Delaware, South Jersey, all the ports. That included the airlines. So what I would do was all this would come across the screen, and you have to decide, is it coming in the country? Is it not coming in the country? Are we going to sample it? Does it look suspicious? And depending on what it is, you may have to access 5 separate databases to clear it.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. So I was there for 21 years. I was 65, 3 months shy of 66. I wanted to stay to 70. Stupid me, right? My wife talked me out of it. She says, what are you doing? You're only going to lose $10. You don't need to do that. I was getting very stressful too. Because I was I was holding up millions and millions of dollars of stuff because they didn't get me what I wanted. I was always getting calls from the drug companies, the medical device companies, everybody. So if you don't give me what I want, I'm going to send it down the compliance branch, and you ain't going to see that for a very long time. Miraculously, all of a sudden, I get what I want. But anyhow, I retired, and I never worked again.
Well, that's why they call it retirement. You don't have to work.
There's a reason why.
I knew this was coming.
Well, I also have disability from the VA.
Yeah. And you get, I'm sure being with a Purple Heart recipient, you have your own medical. You don't have to worry about that.
I get my ears which I first started on was my ears. I got 50% just my ears. That's how bad my hearing was. I take these out, I'm gonna hear nothing. Got 10% for the ringing in the ears, the tinnitus, and 40% for the hearing loss, which is the highest they can get. And I eventually got 10% for my hip and 70% for PTSD. And
Well, yeah. Listen, buddy, you earned them all,
yeah,
and I'm proud to have you on the show. You know, but I think we're almost out of time. I mean, there's a lovely young lady that's sitting over, and people can't see this. And actually, I started talking to her before I started talking to you, because I met her kind of first, and she was telling me all about a program, and which you're aware of. It's called the Dog Tag program, and she was nice enough to come on the radio, 1410 the Q AM radio with me and talk about the program. But I'd like to have it on our YouTube channel. So Ron, you had a long career in the military. I want to thank you for that and your sacrifices and everything. Is there anything about the military that you'd want to talk about? Special assignment you did, or some people you met, or a special moment? You would recommend the military to a young person nowadays, wouldn't you?
I don't know. I would. I guess I would, but they're more educated now because you have a lot of all these electronics and computers and stuff.
Yeah, it moves right
so
on.
You can go in, get a job like that, and actually get a job when you get out. When I got out of the Marines, what am I going to do? I was a tanker. They told me I could be a bulldozer operator. What?
Yeah.
But no, there's a lot of opportunity in there now. And with everything that's going on around here, you're probably better off in the military now anyhow.
I think the military offers a lot, personally. I only did 4 years. It was the middle of Vietnam, and I got tired of working every day of the week, and I finally just said, I'm done, But sometimes I wish I had stayed, but that's the way it goes, And but once again, I got to ride in one tank, one time. I got to ride in a tank.
Did you?
Yeah, it's I think they're neat.
Well, on a tank, everyone has to know everybody's job.
Yeah.
In case somebody gets hit, killed.
Well, now they're all computerized too, like you say.
Oh, the tanks they have now are nothing like we had.
Yeah.
You get it. They go faster backwards than we went forwards. And by the way, the Marine Corps has no more tanks.
No, they got rid of them all.
The commandant, in his infinite wisdom, said, "We don't need them, so there's no more tanks."
Oh, I didn't know that. Anyway, thank you, brother.
Okay.
Welcome home. It's time to say goodbye. You ever see how I do it? Have you watched Salute before? Well, you will watch it now.
No.
But anyway, we do it like this. We're going to give out a salute. You ready? To all our veterans out there, our active military and their families, we salute you for all you do. Until next time.